What's up, guys? This is Ninja. Oh no, Ninja. And today I have. I don't know if I can call it a video. And the reason why I don't know if I can call it a video is simply because the person that I'm talking about is petty. It's a video. It's a StarCraft 2 video. Um, and basically, the person I'm going to show you goes by the name of Neuro, Nero, and it's Nero Zerg. Okay, this is a video response to Biggest Zerglingus, right? Nero uploaded 2 hours ago, right? Now, for a long time, a little bit of history. For a long time, this player has cried cheese. He has talked shit about people who were just being aggressive. He called people all in noobs. He basically, every single instance of aggression or every instance of high hostility towards him, he cried about. He kicked, whined, and screamed and yelled, and he'd say, "You're miserable. You're dishonorable. You have no self-respect. I'm taking the high road. I'm the bigger Zerg here. I'm the bigger man. Blah blah blah. You're pathetic. You're small. You're stupid. And I'm the bigger man. I'm the best." Watch this video.
Once upon a time, there was a Zergling named Mediumus Zerglingus, and it was his job to watch out for this base, to let the Zerg know if Terran was going to expand there.
See, I'll admit, when I seen this at first, because it says biggest Zerglingus, and he was saying that that was mediumus or something, right? So I was like, okay, so that Zergling is gonna kill the SCV and survive, and that Zergling is gonna win and be a hero. Cool, right? That's what I thought.
And he stood at his post, menacingly.
By the way, that's a shitty position to stand at. You should stand where the command center is going, not next to it. And the reason why is because you want to try to deny and or kill that SCV. But because this guy sucks, he stands next to the area, and you'll see.
For quite a while. And as he stood there, he contemplated existence. He listened psionically to his allies.
See right here? He could have killed the SCV.
But then he spoke. For he saw
But
a
nope.
base.
Nope, instead it just killed. Because he stood out of position. So I was like, wow, so that Zergling died. Wow. Wow, that's sad. Right? What does this all mean? What's the whole point? And it's pretty clear what happens, pretty obvious. But again, what he does is he creates a room where he is the macho man, and he goes out and farms sheep and brings them in, and he feeds you pellets just enough to make it sure you got to come back tomorrow, right? Because it's not enough for you to be independent and to grow on your own. It's like the American healthcare industry, like the American corruption in America, where it's like, I need you to always come to me for your necessities because I know that I fail and I won't be bigger than you forever, so I need to keep you small forever, so you always need me. That's what's going on. Okay, but that's what he's doing, is what I'm trying to tell you.
And he ran in. And
Me, I want you to eventually beat me in Smash Brothers. I want you to eventually beat me in StarCraft 2 and League of Legends. I want you to eventually take the flag and run with it. I want that eventually. He does not. He wants to always hold on to that flag, and that's what petty is. That's what being small-minded is. It's you never want to lose. You never want to admit defeat. You never want to be the bigger man. You want to pretend to be something you're not. So anyways,
Attacked bravely and died.
attacked bravely and died because you had it positioned next to where it should have been.
His blood splatter on the ground beneath the command center. And the Terran anchored their base with a siege tank,
And that's not an anchor, by the way.
missile turret, and a planetary fortress.
That's a light defense.
And then the Zerg. Having
If the planetary completed, that would have been a good hold, but it's nope.
heard the report of Mediumus Zerglingus, that there was a base being established here, they struck before the base was done. And so it was.
And here's where I stopped the video. Now I'm going to read the comment. That I'll leave it. I'll leave it too. So it turns out that you are just like they are, and you pick on noobs. The ones. Also, let me change this. This is what it is to be a teacher in English. So it turns out that you are just like they are, and you pick on noobs. You pick on noobs that you cried about with cheese and aggression, and yet here you are glorifying the very same thing, but now, comma, you see that the shoe is on the other foot. It's a good thing. This is why I talk blank, which is shit, about you. And this is why you are a shitty leader, because you don't believe in a good or bad. You only believe in your success. You cried once upon a time, not because it was unskilled or because it was unfair, but because you failed at being a competitor and you could not compete with people. You could not compete with people who had bigger balls than you did. Spit. And that's it. That's my video to NeuroZerg. Because that's what it is. He once upon a time used to cry, oh, Imba on cheese. All in. Noobs, 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 noobs. Wah, wah, wah. But here you are. You sent your whole army off of this idea that there is going to be an expansion. And versus a real competitor, if a real competitor had seen that, he would have moved to a different outpost. But I don't know how these maps are these days, and they kind of lead you on, and they're built for dumbasses like you, who are easy to trick and manipulate and exploit. So I don't know if the maps are. You don't have a choice in the matter. It's just you naturally gonna. They call it a natural. Because now it's actually you take this base, you take, and then the next one you take is this one, and then this one, like you're supposed to. Before you could, now you need it in order to play the game. You need to do this, right? That's what the game has become, because of people like petty beta males like you. You cried cheese, aggression, all in, and blah, 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 because you couldn't defend it, because you couldn't hold, because you wanted to be greedy, right? There was this thing called greed once upon a time, and people would flat out lose, like you, for being too greedy. And you got tired of getting caught in the cookie jar, so you had cried. And unfortunately, because of your tears and the amount and the fact that you outlasted everyone else, eventually you were on top and they listened to you and they built the game around your mindset, and now everyone is greedy like you. Because and they're bitches and they're betas and they're ladies, they're not manly, they pretend, right? In their head they're all the Mega Man, they handle this shit, they're the best, but in reality they don't talk to females, they don't know females, they're insecure, they're petty, they're stupid, they're losers, right? That's basically what this is. This is what it's all about. But that's what I'm calling out. That's what this is, right? That's what we saw. That's what I saw this day. Because again, versus a high level player, he would have moved bases. I don't know how they work anymore. But I would have moved, or I would have realized, hey, I was attacked. That means that there's going to be. He knows I'm expanding, so chances are he's going to put pressure on my base. So I better send more than a marine and a tank. You know what I'm saying? And so you sending your army would have died. And in that moment, that's when me as a Terran player at the time, I would be like, he just lost every Zergling he had because he's a dumbass, and I would all in you the thing that you cried about, right? Because I'm just punishing you. And that's my point. Because back in the day, it was just punishment, punishment, punishment. And you got tired of being punished because you were a terrible, shitty Zerg. And you thought you deserved the same, like once upon a time, professional players, they earned this thing called the respect. He isn't attacking him because of respect. And that respect is earned, not given. And you never earned it, but you wanted that respect. And so you would cry and cry and cry and cry and cry until they made the maps and they made the game where people were forced to respect your greed. It's to the point now where now before when we first started the game, you started with 6 workers, and sometimes you would have a what's it called, a one baser, right? Sometimes that was actually the case, and sometimes they would have a 2 base all in or whatever, but you had to account for that, right? But you never did. The reason why is because you were greedy. That's what it was. Anyways, I'm going back into my old days when I used to play this fucking shitty game. But yeah, the StarCraft 2, I quit. Let's see, Legacy of the Void, I think it was. I think they changed. They made it to where instead of starting with 6 workers, you start with like 8 or 12 workers. I think it's 12. And so you doubled your workers, and then I decided I quit at that point. And the reason why is because I would do like a 48 all in, but I would expand behind it. That's what they would call it. It's a 48 all in. But I would just put pressure. And if I seen that you were going to hold, I would expand while still keeping up the pressure. I slowly took a second, but I slowly built up my army as well. Because if you decided to cut too much of A or B, then I beat you with C. You know what I'm saying? If you cut too much of A for C, then I killed you with A. If you cut too much from B, I killed you with the B, right? But rarely you would perfectly. I played the ladder, and occasionally I would lose, and it would because they would be aggressive too. And so I would be marching and meet their army, and then so we'd fight in the middle, and they'd micro and I'd micro, and we'd keep shit alive, and then we'd meet again, and then what's it called? Next thing you know, we had bases, the second 2 bases, aggression, fighting, right? We're trying to feel each other out, and then as the game goes on, and as you're kind of skirmishing, a carrier shows up, and you're like, oh fuck, good game, man. Because you're like, how the fuck did you get the money to do that? Like, how did you muster? That was the fun part of League of Legends for the real competitors, right? That was the real League of Legends. I'm sorry, StarCraft 2 or StarCraft 2 experience. Like that's what it was. That's why Stefano did what he did, right? That's why Hero Marine did what he did. Is because it was just aggression, and then you'd follow it up with expansions and bases, and you'd poke and prod, blah blah. And then yes, you were defending as an all-in or like 70-80% of the time, but who fucking cares? You just did it and moved on. Did it and moved on. But no, I'm gonna be a bitch. I wanna whine. Meh. And look at you now. Look at you now. He's expanding, and what did you do? All in his fucking expansion. Good job. You have become the villain. Well done, dude. I hope you're proud of yourself. You have become the bad guy, the very guy that you used to hate and rage because you didn't have the balls. Now you can intention, um, educationally, um, via education, because you know more than them. You can now take advantage of their ignorance, and that's what you're doing. You are just like they are, just like the world. They're trying to deny expansion, right? Your knowledge. They're trying to make it towards harder to go to school, go to college, and to expand your mind and become smarter. They're trying to make they're really taking psychology away from high school, out of high school, and you have to actually go into it in college. It's not something. It's just that you need it, which you should. I think you should have it at least at 10th grade. You should have some kind of like even ninth grade. You should have mandatory psychology. You should know that people can lie. They will lie, right? I didn't have this. I learned this all when I was like 24. But anyways, so yeah, and that would have changed my life. Like, oh my god, if I had known that people were like that, I would have completely played my cards differently. And you, Mister, Livers under a rock and bitches about everything. You become the bad guy. Anyways, I'm out. Be well, be happy, be safe. And real quick, I think I already posted this. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm out. So peace. Be well, be happy, be safe. Godspeed. God bless. Don't let the door hit you where the Lord split you. Take care. Praise Allah. Praise Yevon. I'm out.